So today, let us talk about sex. And this is by far the single most common question I get from women in my online courses, from my one-on-one coaching clients. This deep desire to have a sex that is loving, that is intimate, that lasts, and that is actually a container for evolution and for ongoing growth in their relationship. Now, without a question, I am not talking here about one-night stand, but I'm talking here about sex in a long-term committed relationship. How do you keep it alive, and how do you keep it as this glue or this togetherness that allow you to deepen love and bond and intimacy for one another and actually experience something profoundly magical together? So when it comes to more intimate and loving sex, there are 5 pillars that I'm deeply interested in couples both experiencing together, but most importantly, actually implementing in their relationship. So the first pillar, and I'm gonna go more specifically in details about each and one of them. So the first pillar is to talk about sex. The second pillar is to have healthy sexual container. The third pillar is to have a regular sexual experiences. The fourth pillar is to deepen pleasure and intimacy. And the fifth pillar is to have an ongoing sexual edge and sexual evolution. So the first pillar is to talk about sex. And this is such an important piece. What I see over and over again is that couples very seldom talk about sex. Even couples who are deeply loved up and intimate and connected and again talk about absolutely everything, they very seldom talk about sex. And even couples who do talk about sex, they very seldom go all the way in and share their greatest fears and greatest desires. So one of the things that I'm deeply invested working with couples is to get them communicate about sex on a regular basis. Now, next week, next Wednesday, you're up for a big treat because I'm gonna share with you a step-by-step process that you can do with your partner, with your boyfriend, or with your husband that allows you to communicate about sex in a safe, loving, and intimate way. So next week, watch out for it. It's going to be so powerful. Now, outside of that, I am deeply invested in having couples talk about their sexual experiences right after they had sex. This is a simple process called recap that I want couples to do right after their intimacy to share what worked, what didn't work, what felt beautiful, what didn't feel beautiful, what was their emotional, their physical, their psychological experience. And what that does for women, it allows them to feel that what they just shared with their partner or with their husband was actually meaningful. They were not just used for male pleasure or gratification that is so embedded in woman's psyche, but actually their interaction had a meaning for their partner, which is so incredibly valuable. And for man, it allows him to verbalize what he felt, what he sensed, what he experienced. Now, by and large, having a recap experience after sex is actually a way to mindfully transition either into the rest of the night and fall asleep or into the rest of the day. So there is not just thing like, hey, I had an orgasm and now let's move on, but talking about sex right after the experience is such a powerful transition zone. Now, the second pillar of this process is to create a healthy sexual container. And healthy sexual container is about developing a shared sense of safety and acceptance with whatever arises. It is about having the presence and the anchored safety in your sexuality to be present with every single emotion and every single experience. Now, of course, when the intention is there, it is understandable that is not always possible. Sometimes what my partner will feel is just so hard for me to accept or fully acknowledge, or I might be hungry or tired or irritated. But the focus and intention is to always hold every single emotion and every single experience in a space of safety. And when this is instilled in relationship, it's just profoundly beautiful what can open up and the possibilities from, healing a Me Too story within the container of relationship through experiencing like this deepest level of surrender that every single woman is so hungry for, all the way to going in a state of trance and pure ecstasy. The next pillar is to have a regular sexual experiences. Now, it's virtually impossible to have better sex when sex is not actually taking place. So one of the things I advise my couples over and over again is to set up a regular sex nights. And without a question, especially in long-term relationship, there is so much resistance around this. And it is the same type of resistance that people experience when they start to work out in the gym, or they say, I'm gonna meditate every single day and this is a new habit. Setting up a regular sex night is a new habit for your sexuality, but it absolutely works. And over time, the resistance melts and couples actually really enjoy themselves throughout the experiences. The fourth pillar of this process is to deepen your pleasure and your intimacy. And this part of the process is not as much about the 3 tricks to better blowjob. And of course, there is nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to deepening pleasure and intimacy in long-term relationship, is so much more about increasing sensitivity, sensitizing yourself, and taking off the pressure from the penetrative sex. Or in other words, that sex only has to be about penetration. So when it comes to deepening pleasure and intimacy with your partner, this is a lot where practices like couples breathwork come in, or practices like penis massage, where a woman is fully focusing on massaging testicles and penis of a man and fully enveloped in his pleasure. Or a man can give his partner a yoni massage that allows her to feel more in her body, experience different type of orgasms, or take pressure or take the entire focus around male gratification and actually make women feel deeply sexually seen, sexually loved, and sexually important. Now, yoni massage, a step-by-step process, is actually inside of my free ebook called Sexual Healing for Modern Day Goddess that you can download on the link beneath this video and literally give your lady, or if you're a woman watching this video, show this to your partner and allow him to give you the time of your life. And the fifth pillar of this process is sexual growth and evolution. And this is such a big concept because everything that you do over and over again, whether it's the same meal every night or watching the same TV show or having the same type of sex over and over again, eventually loses it sparks its interest, and this is where boredom sets in. So growing together sexually means all the other pillars are in place. That means talking about sex. That means having a healthy sexual container, having a regular sexual experiences, deepening your pleasure and your intimacy. And then when it comes to growth and evolution, is about sharing your greatest desires or even building a sexual goals together, and then slowly and mindfully actually growing into them in a space of safety and pure acceptance. Now, this addition to Sexy Wednesdays is so special because I'm a huge believer that sex does not need to die in long-term relationship. We can develop a lifelong desire, pursuit of lust and passion, and really use our sexuality with our partner for knowing each other better and deepening our love and intimacy. But it does require work. So I would love to know from you in the comments below, what is your number one takeaway around these 5 pillars for having an exquisite sexuality with your partner? Now I want us to talk. So if you want to talk directly with me, I'm going to invite you to join my Facebook group, Sexy, Playful and Confident, which is a super safe space for women to talk about sex, to talk about intimacy, and to talk about love. And you will find the link beneath this video. I'm so grateful for your presence here. If you're loving this content, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, because guess what? Next Wednesday, I'm sharing with you the step-by-step process to actually talk about sex.